change.
So in words,
divided by the change in x.
Okay, so how our numbers, our y values change, divided by that change in our x values from point to point. So going over the different types of slopes, we do have a negative slope, so that would look something like this. Okay, so that's our negative slope. That goes up and to the left. We have a positive slope going this way. That's up and to the right. We can have a slope of 0. Do you remember which way that goes?
Like this way?
It's one of those.
It's
It's this way. Okay, it's a horizontal line.
Was the other one I'm talking about like undefined?
Okay, so if you have a slope of 0, it is a horizontal line. If your slope is undefined, that is the vertical line. Okay, how I kind of remember it, if you have a slope of 0, you can still walk on a slope of 0, right? If you have a slope that's undefined, you can't really walk straight up vertically. Yeah. Okay, questions so far on our different slopes? All right, then to find the slope, we use rise over run. Okay, so our change in y would be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So that is our formula to find our slope, and I'm just going to highlight that for you there. That's the formula we need to use to find our slope. So what if an equation has only one variable? Okay, so for example, what if I have y equals 5 or x equals negative 2? Okay, so if y is your constant, that means you have a horizontal line, it has a slope of 0, and it crosses the y-axis at that constant c. So if it's 5, it would cross at 5. Okay, and I'm going to kind of show you that here. So I'm going to draw in my x and y axis. I know it's kind of small, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's my x and y axis. If I have the equation y is equal to 5, that means I'm going to find my point where y is 5. Okay, so I would go up to that point where y is equal to 5. Again, I'm sorry, it's kind of small. I'll make the next one bigger. And then since it has a slope of 0, it's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, so that's how you would kind of plot those if you have y equals that constant number. Now, if x is equal to a constant, or x is equal to negative 2, it's a vertical line with an undefined slope, and it crosses the x-axis at that constant or negative 2. So again, I'm going to draw in my x and y axis off to the side here. Make this one a little bit bigger. Okay, so x-axis, y-axis. for this one, if x is equal to negative 2, I want to go to that spot where x is negative 2. So that would be to the left here. Okay, so that's where negative 2 is. And this one would be a vertical line through all the places where x is negative 2. Okay, so it has that undefined slope. Okay, questions on your one variable where y is a constant or x is equal to a constant? Yep.
So every time it's a single variable, it's either going to be 0 or undefined?
Yes, so if you have an equation like this where you only have a y or you only have an x, where you don't have y equals mx plus b, it'll be either vertical or horizontal. Other questions? All right, so in our next examples here, for our first one, we're going to find the slope. Okay, so we're going to find the slope of the line created by these 2 points. So that means we're going to use that highlighted equation up here. Okay, so we need an x sub 1, an x sub 2, a y sub 1, and a y sub 2. So what I like to do is label each of my points. Okay, so in my first point here, I would label this as x sub 1, so 3 is x sub 1. The y value next to it would be y sub 1. Okay, so I have an x sub 1 and a y sub 1. My second point then, I would label as x sub 2. So that 0 value is x sub 2. And this y value is y sub 2. So negative 2. Now that I have it labeled, it's a little bit easier to put into that slope equation. So for my slope, which we use m is equal to, we need to take our y sub 2 value, which is negative 2, subtract our y sub 1 value, which is negative 6, and I'm going to put that in parentheses. Then we're dividing, put in our fraction bar, by x sub 2, which is 0, minus x sub 1, which was 3. Okay, so you see how labeling that helps you out a little bit to enter that into your equation? From here I can simplify. So I have negative 2 minus a negative 6. If I have minus and negative, what happens? Okay, I'm adding a positive then. So I have negative 2 plus 6. That's 4. Over negative 3. So my slope for this line is negative 4/3. And I would just leave it like that. Okay, questions on letter A? How I found that slope. All right, so we're going to find the slope for B, C, and D as well. So in letter B, this time you're given a graph. So you could find out what those 2 points are and do the same thing we did here, or we can count rise over run from each point. Okay, so I can go from point M. I need to do the rise first, so how many it goes up. So we're going up this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going up 6. And then we do our run, which is left to right. So I have to go to the left from there to get to point L. And I go left 1, 2, 3. Now since I'm going left, it needs to be negative. Okay, so I'm going left 3 units. So now I can write out my slope. You guys all see that? So my slope, I need my rise first, which was 6, over my run, which was negative 3.
And that just equaling 2.
And that does just equal negative 2. So my slope for that line is negative 2. Questions? All right, I want you guys to do C and D. So look back at the top, do letters C and D. If your ruler's broken, it's okay. You're just using it for a straight edge.
Too many things impossible. It was that big 50% of the I Is Baldwin even is C -3? Like 0 and -3.
You're looking for the slope, not the equation of the line.
So,
Yes.
so 0 here, I'm trying to the next one.
All right, so I'm going to look back at C and D.
Sorry, because this up here of the y.
So I am trying to find the slope, not the equation of the line. Okay, so if I have a horizontal line, what's your slope? 0. Okay, so my slope would be equal to 0. Now what if I said I wanted you to find the equation of this line? If it's a horizontal, is it y equals or x equals? It's y equals. So if it's horizontal, it's y equals. Okay? And it's where y is equal to a certain number. Okay, so I would go down 1, 2, 3. So y would equal -3. Now I know you didn't have to do that. I just wanted to remind you how you would write that equation. Okay, then for letter D, what's this slope? Undefined. Okay, and again, if I asked you to write the equation of this line, it is x equals, and it is x equals 2. Okay, questions?
Backside.
Hmm? You have one question on the back side. No, I'm not going to make you do that one by yourself. You probably could, but I'm going to do it anyways. I think you could. The one on the back.
That's what I just said on the back. I tried doing it, and I tried doing it the rest of everyone, and I somehow got like 6, 10.
Oh.
Is that
All right.
the answer?
You're not actually trying to solve anything. You're just graphing the line.
So it would,
Yeah. All right. So flip your note sheet to the back. We're going to graph a line given a point and the slope. So that's why I handed you the straight edge. Okay, so we can make a straight line. So to plot this, what I would do is first plot the point that they gave me. Okay, so I'm going to plot the point 3, 5. So I'll go to the right 3 and up 5. Okay, so from that point, I'm going to use the slope that was given. Now my slope is -2. That means it's -2 over 1. Okay, so my rise is -2, run is 1. Okay, so I need to go down 2 and right 1. Okay, so from my point, I'll go down 2 units and then right 1 unit to make my next point. I can do that again. If I start from this point now, I can go down 2 units and then right 1. Okay, then all I have to do is take my straight edge and connect those points. If you want to make more points, you can. But honestly, all you need is 2 points to create a line. Okay, so use the point given and then use that slope. That slope is rise over run. Don't confuse plotting your point with the slope. It's opposite. Okay, when you plot your point, your x values first, that's left or right, and then you go up or down for your y value. In your slope, you do the change in y first and then the change in x. Okay? Any questions on how I graphed my line here?